This week we're going cover to cover on Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I'm Sarah Lyles.
And I'm Jamie Livingston, and we are so approachable. We are off into space this week.
Yes, we are. We aren't actually even in our galaxies and somewhere else.
That was not what I expected.
No.
I didn't realize we were going that far away. I thought we were going toward the sun.
We missed it.
Light years away.
Yeah.
Light years away. Okay, we always start with our 3 words. So what you got?
I have daring, far-fetched, and empty. What about you?
I like those words. I went with vivid, detailed, and epic.
Oh, yes. I could see all 3 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely out there. Mm-hmm. And we had wondered in our TLDR episode where we kind of just read the back of the book and make projections about what we think could possibly happen, how this was going to be done with just one person.
Right.
What is the actual problem? So let's talk about our one person.
Okay.
Because we have Ryland Grace.
Yes. I mean, there's other characters in there, but he's mainly the only one cover to cover because others are sprinkled in and sprinkled out or corpses left there. But yes, Ryland Grace. I liked him a lot. Yeah. As it unfolded and his story unfolded, you got to know him better. It was really hard at first to be like, how do you not know your name, but you can remember all of these insane details? That bothered me so much because I thought, how in the world? This amnesia, I'd hate it.
Right. So we're led to believe that he's a middle school teacher.
Yes.
And had history in the academic world, like was a bigwig scientist and was kind of like made fun of for one of his reports and was like, I'm going to go hide in a school. And, like, became a middle school teacher and absolutely loved it, it seems. What kind of a teacher do you think he is?
Well, as the story unfolded more, you realized how connected he was to the kids. And really, part of this mission, it was like he needed to do it for the kids. So he really had a heart for the kids that he taught.
Yeah. I mean, even when they discover the alien life form, the astrophage.
Yeah.
If I'm just going to say right now, I did not listen to the audiobook at all. So we're going to have to talk about that. So if I say words that are completely mispronounced, I feel like we're reading a fantasy book right now and pronunciations could be all over the place. So,
I mean,
astrophage.
Yes, that's correct.
Sure. Okay.
And mind you, I did listen to the audiobook, so way different experience, and I'm glad I listened to the audiobook.
Okay, so when they discover the astrophage and he's finally getting to do some of the like science around that, and he goes back to his classroom, which I thought was very strange that like the next day he's walking into school to teach his science class. And then he, like, ran out of class and was like...
Bolted, told the kids just figure it out, hang out for a minute.
I need to go and do some more science because this is really going to impact you. So that was a very strange encounter. As teachers, I feel like we're like, well...
You can't just leave your class.
You can't leave your class. And were you on a break before this? Was it just over the weekend that you happened to... I was... just very confused as to the dynamics there. Like, did he already have a substitute?
No.
Like, the stress. Like, all those logistics were going through my brain at that time.
We weren't made to be teachers to read that because it was like, just forget that blip in it. It's like, because the point of it, I felt, was they were trying to make him realize, like, oh, I need to really focus on this because it's going to affect these kids. And if I don't, it's detrimental to them.
Yeah. Did you feel that he was just trying to be the cool teacher? Because I definitely got those vibes.
Sure.
Like, he definitely was a science nerd, 100%. And throughout the entire book, I was questioning his knowledge, not maybe like the extent of his knowledge. Like, he's a middle school science teacher, not even a high school teacher. And he was like, oh, well, you'd have to know that because you're a middle school science teacher. And I was like, I could go and ask a lot of middle school science teachers this stuff, and I don't think this is what they're being taught. Like, I don't think they're knowing, like, light years down to the second and milligram and no. Right. I don't. We could go talk to our middle school science teacher, and I don't think she would spout out any of this information.
If she did, that would be amazing.
I know. I thought about calling her to have her on this episode. Like, what?
I mean, truly, I did feel like that for a long time into this book. I mean, almost until the end. I didn't realize that, like, his DNA came into play. I thought, why him? Like, why would they choose him? What about him was the choice? Like, that was my whole first thinking, like, why did they pick this guy? Why did they go through this? It didn't make sense to me. Like, like you're saying, a middle school science teacher.
But it wasn't that he was a middle school science teacher, and they didn't test his DNA until quite far along in the process.
Yes.
It was the fact that he originally had the theory that alien life didn't have to come from water. And so she wanted Strat, whatever her first name is.
Eva
Strat, wanted him to take a look at this alien life form to see if it was in fact alive and to see if it would prove his theory that he was laughed out of the scientific community because of. And it was disproven, but he still had really good knowledge to go around it. So I think that because he was this, like, guru of science, it wasn't anything to do with him being a teacher, but his passion for finding answers kept him on board. Did you see him at all as, I mean, clearly we knew that he ended up on the ship, but in all of those flashbacks, were you starting to piece together how that was going to come about?
No, it took me a while. Like, I had to really focus in, like, well, I could tell they were flashbacks. Obviously, it was really good to listen to audiobook because they do a really good job at making you realize, like, the timelines of events.
Okay.
So that did really help in that. But, yeah, it was like, wow, this is interesting how it's unfolding. I actually, for a while, was like, this is very, very, like, detailed. Like, you use the word, I think you use the word detailed. And, you know, and it had a lot of details of what was going on within his life. Not background, like, as far as, like, history or growing up. Like, details of what he was doing scientifically, which partly for the first 25%, I was like, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
And then the other 75% came on, and I was like, wow, that was really interesting. Got it. Okay. So I'm only 25% in.
I really enjoyed the flashbacks.
Yes, I did too.
Figuring out what Earth was doing to handle this crisis. And I loved kind of Strat's leadership.
Oh, I
and
loved
just
her.
Like, nope, doesn't matter. In the scheme of things, like, sure, hold me on trial after we launch this ship, but like, you're going to listen to me right now. And so I loved, like, boss lady coming in and taking care of things.
Yeah, when they went to court and she's like, you can do all you want to do, but you're not going to do anything. Go ahead. Do whatever you want to do.
I have immunity.
Period. Here you go. See you later.
We're putting every published document ever from the entire world onto one hard drive, and you don't get any rights to it. What did you think about the fact that he was giving that computer to another alien race? Especially since we had witnessed them in court saying, like, how dare you put this all in one place without any rights? And then he goes and gives it to another civilization.
I thought, hey, I'd probably do it. Why not? They want to learn about us just like we want to learn about them, I'm sure.
Yeah, I just thought that was quite ironic that,
again,
that had been debated.
Is far-fetched is the word I used in a lot of areas, and that was one that I was like, okay. So Eva Strat, I loved her. I loved her character. She was great.
Did you see her? I mean, clearly she was being portrayed as being quite cold and demanding. Did it surprise you when we got to the twist where she forced him onto the ship?
Oh, I actually was very surprised. I was like, wow, she's pretty much trying to guilt him and do whatever she can to say, you will do this, and when you're there, you're going to do the right thing, period. And I'm like, wow, that was surprising.
Right. And when the other shipmate was like, he has to come on his own accord, and she's like, I'll find a way to circumvent that. Like, he's getting on that ship.
Yeah. And then the other two, you know, that whole, like, love relationship.
Yeah.
That was an interesting relationship in itself. I can't even remember their names. Like,
no, nobody cares what their names were.
Because it was like, one of us is going to go, one of us is going to die. Oh, well,
let's just have some fun.
Dr. So-and-so and Dr.
Right.
It's like, who cares?
I thought that the explosion was going to be because of them being dumb. Oh, like they were in a closet somewhere.
That would make sense.
Doing something stupid and like a beaker.
Left something on the oven.
I thought that was going to be the downfall. I did have one point in the book. He's trying to remember everything, right? He's on the ship. Memories are slowly coming back to him. And he said something about, well, I mean, I guess I volunteered to come on this trip, so I must have volunteered. And as soon as he said, I must have volunteered, that was like just this little hint. I didn't like write it down. I didn't like dwell on that, but I was like, ooh, maybe he didn't actually. Like he's now just implanting that because he's there. Like that's his logical reason for being there.
Right.
Were you suspicious at all when the book started and he had amnesia?
I thought, what is going on? Why does that man, can't he remember anything? Like, I didn't understand that. And then when he woke up and both of them were dead, right next to him, I was thinking he was just orbiting around like the moon, the sun, that area that I never suspected any of those things. I was really surprised.
That he had been asleep for how many years?
What's 13?
A long time.
Something like that? Because, it was like that coma.
13 years, but it was 4 years of relativity time.
Yeah.
4 experienced years.
Right. Yeah. It was
science.
Forever.
Well, that's my question. What did you think about all of the science and all of the math? Because we've talked about this before. I'm not a math guru by any means. And science, like, I enjoy, but not chemistry. That involves math, so nope, that one's out.
It was a lot.
This was a lot.
It was a lot. And I mean, like I said, the first 25%, I was like, oh, I could get into this. I can get into this. And then I was like, wow, it is so much. And then when you enter Rocky, and Rocky is also super intelligent and also brings another level of scientific measures, it was mind-blowing, actually. And some aspects I was like, okay, I know that this is not real. We're talking about what Iridian, like their whole Iridian system, and that was its own thing. And so it felt heavy and very detailed in a lot of areas of scientific, like spectrums of, wow.
Did you just, like, accept it, like, kind of in one ear and out the other? Because I feel like that's kind of where I was at, where I was like, I'm not questioning or trying to solve any of these math problems ahead of him. Like, I'm just going to take this as it is. It sounds decent. I'm sure there are scientists who read a book like this and they're like, he said the water temperature was 72.3 and it was 72.4. I'm not that person.
Oh, me neither.
No.
Not at all.
So I just took it with a grain of salt and was like, well, that's cool. I'm not doing the math.
Wow. That's all I was like. I still was so just like, that's a lot of information.
Well, that's also why I was like, a middle school science teacher isn't doing like this. I'm sure they know how to do trigonometry or something, but like,
he'd be at a college somewhere with all this knowledge. He would not be in middle school.
So why do you think that he like lowered himself to middle school? I think that Strat, when she kind of went on her like character tirade, like she just like completely pinpointed Grace and was like, no, you are a coward. You have run from everything difficult in your life and you hide yourself in a middle school classroom where they worship you.
Good point.
And I was like, ooh, she did it bad. Like, that was harsh.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
He's like genius level and is
seriously genius
teaching
level.
Planets. Like,
you're on the solar system.
Like, please turn in your science project, and it's all the hangers and foam balls. Like, and yet we see him out here doing all this complex math and craziness.
It was a lot. I mean, it was a lot. All right, so our other character.
Yes.
Rocky. How did you feel about Rocky?
I mean, I think you're supposed to like Rocky. I liked Rocky. I read the book and I felt like I was having a hard time picturing him. Like the description was decent, but that's where I think that the movie for this is really going to come in handy. because I was reading it and I was picturing him way bigger, and then I had to like reframe my imagination when he came aboard his ship and was like in a hamster wheel, and I was like, oh no. Like, I was picturing this big, I'm picturing like the creepy, this is a reference you may not understand, but I'm picturing Aragog from Harry Potter, giant spider, giant spider. And then it's actually the size of a Labrador, and like this little guy.
Yes.
Still way bigger than a spider that I want to be around, right?
Yes.
I don't want like a 3-foot spider. But yeah, I definitely was not picturing him correctly at all.
No. And I mean, really, I'm really glad I was really focused in when they talked about his description, because otherwise I would have gone to like Stranger Things thinking of like some giant crazy character. But yes, I had a really hard time picturing him. After I finished the book, I had to go in and figure out how the movie was going to make him look. Because I'm like, I can't picture, how are they going to make this rock-like spider? And it's what I thought it looked like. It looked like a rock and a spider. Okay. And it had these little knuckle things that were like, knocking. It was the weirdest looking thing.
Okay.
It made
I'm going to have to go look at that.
Far-fetched word science fiction.
Well, and the fact that this little rock creature is able to make all of this stuff out of nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, he brought his stuff aboard from his ship, but I've got like arts and crafts in a couple bins upstairs, and I can't just make whatever I want.
Because I mean, when he first meets him, he brings this little character of him. He's like, "Oh, that's me. Oh, that's my ship," and he just like makes it, and just
like he's his own 3D printer. But
he's got 8 legs, so of course he can do it.
I just didn't understand how he was able to do all of those, like, fine dexterity. And then it was like, and it has the sensor readings and gauges for doing this, and this is an airlock, and I was like, I'm going to suspend my disbelief right now and just trust that this little alien can do all of that as a boulder. I mean, that is a nice boulder.
Yeah. And then when they described him eating.
Oh.
Yes. I just thought, yuck. Interesting, but ugh, why? Like, how is he making these teeny tiny intricate things, and then he just like opens his abdomen and just, no thank you. I just thought it was gross.
Okay, what about his language?
I made you listen. I said, you haven't listened to the audiobook. I got to let you listen to like what he sounds like. It's very weird.
Right. Well, and I have read a ton of reviews and have heard from people that the audiobook was really good.
Yeah.
And when you're reading the book, whenever Rocky is talking, it's just music notes in quotations.
How confusing, though. I mean, in some aspects,
Yes.
You're like,
and
I'm
so
reading.
The fact that he's speaking in chords is what it comes down to.
Yes.
I was very curious as to how that translated, literally, into the audiobook.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
It helped distinguish it. Now, I still feel like it's so unbelievable how he was able to transcribe and translate his language. I thought, we have a lot of technologies here in America, but maybe the government has all this stuff in hiding that we don't know. I mean, I know the government, I'm sure, that has many secrets that we don't know about. And there might even be like another life that they communicate with that we don't even know about. So maybe it's not suspending my belief so much to think that we could actually communicate with another.
Well, the fact that it's music, I mean, there's definitely software out there that transcribes music.
Sure.
Like, I could go and sit at a piano and play stuff, and the notes will pop up on the computer screen.
But how would you make those into words?
Well, he was writing a word next to it. Like, he was plugging it into his own spreadsheet and saying, that is this word. And so if he typed something in, like, it's like me going into Google saying, how do I say this in this language?
True.
So I thought that was, like, probable, possible.
But it was quick.
The fact that he was able to distinguish it, that his ears heard the chords and, like, that he understood the words. The fact that he was now fluent in Iridian, I think that's how it's said.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But, like, that he was able to pick up on this brand new language that quickly. Like, I would definitely be relying on my Excel spreadsheet forever.
And he was able to, like, communicate in such a fast-paced way.
Well, even at the end, he's actually playing an instrument and playing the chords.
Oh, I know. I
was shocked and just, like, in disbelief at that moment. Like, you're going to sit down at this Iridian organ and, like, speak their language.
All right, kids, sit down. Sit down. Let's get started. I don't know.
I was not anticipating that ending.
No, I wasn't either. I was so surprised on the ending. All right, so we're already there. So the ending comes. He's headed to go take all his information back and go back to save. Because, all right, let's be honest. Rocky was like, I'm going to save you. You live and I live. You know, like, we're both going to survive. Like, right. Which I was like, what a really sweet moment from this rock spider. I don't know. I had a hard time getting into the emotions of that. And so then he goes back into it and he's like, I'm going to save you. He's headed back. And then there was an issue.
The Talmiba?
Yes.
Is that the right pronunciation?
Yes,
Talmiba?
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Okay.
So that happened, and then he automatically goes into thinking like, oh, Rocky's not gonna know what to do. He's not gonna be able to fix this.
Mm-hmm. His entire ship is made out of xenonite.
Yes.
And so he's screwed.
Yes, he's going to die. And so what did you think that Ryland was gonna do at that moment?
I thought he was going to turn around.
Of course.
I did. Especially when he was like, I can go back to Earth and I don't know what's facing me there, but I could like give a piece of my mind for strapping me to this ship and forcing me. But he could be the hero. So there was part of me that was like, he's going to go because he wants to be worshipped. Like that was the wanting the praise and the acclaim that he had missed out on forever. But I had it in my notes and was like, he's going to send out the Beatles and go save Rocky. Let's go. Like, good. Send your information back. Also, I just want to talk about the Beatles and, like, what information did he actually put on there? Because it was like, I'll send a flash drive. I was like, but did you record information? Did you, like, do a video and be like, hey, guys, it's me on the spaceship. I met these aliens. I mean, was it just like his own little dissertation and was like, you're going to have to put these at this degree temperature and this? Like,
I feel like he probably videotaped. That's what I'm envisioning, that he videotaped himself and maybe even video Rocky and was able to transcribe something in there. Because I remember him talking at one point like, oh, I wish I had my camera like at this point. I think it was when he first met Rocky, he was talking about that. And I also feel like there must have been some type of information about like the astrophage and the xenonite and the Talmiba, like had to put something.
Right. I just feel like that was missing.
Yeah, they didn't put what he sent back. It was just, here's information.
Right. I thought he was going to head back to Earth. He was going to dump. Again, I didn't understand how this was going to work. Like he was just going to chuck out a box of the Talmiba at Venus and be like, hope this works, and head back to Earth. But it just felt like he didn't. It seemed because they didn't talk about it that he didn't put stuff about Rocky and the Iridians.
Well, would they believe him?
I mean, I don't know.
Would they even
I just felt
believe
like
him?
that was lacking. If you're going to go into so much detail about everything else, to not even mention that, like, hey, I recorded this thing and put it on the flash drive to send back, like...
That's true.
Nothing. So they don't even know if, I mean, they're assuming that he's dead, but, like, that he almost made it back, but instead he's going off to save this other solar system. Like, I don't know. I just felt like that was very much lacking. Okay, where was I going from there?
We were talking about the Beatles. He's turned around since the Beatles.
Okay, so I did think that he was going to turn around
right.
and go and save Rocky. From our reviews, it talked about, like, crying and it being so sad.
Right.
And, like, I thought he was going to get back to Rocky and Rocky was going to be dead.
Oh, yeah.
And he was going to just go and continue on to Rocky's planet and save his planet. Because a lot of the reviews were like, Rocky, I'm crying. And so I thought that Rocky was not going to make it.
And maybe it was they were talking about crying because when Rocky was went into his ship to try to save him at that point, which, there was a whole lot of beating up both ways. Like one got burned, one got, injured, and there was a whole lot that happened in that moment. There was no part of this book that made me feel any emotion, any tears, because again, I was having a hard time emotionally being drawn to a rock spider.
Yeah. Well, I do think, do you think that Ryland Grace changes throughout this trip?
Oh, absolutely. I think his emotional understanding of himself evolves. And I feel like he realizes his purpose is not just to be loved, but it's to love others and what that looks like. Not just praise me, and so I'll love you, love you. No, it's let me give as much as I can to protect others and put myself last. And so that was like, I think he evolved and his character evolved.
A ton.
Yes.
And I think that especially when he remembers that he was forced onto the ship and was forced amnesia as well. And he was like, dang it, she was right. I'm not going to just abandon this out of spite. And I was like, she did it and she got me. But then the fact that he's willing to sacrifice his own life, because at that point he didn't think that he would survive going to save Arid. Like, it was not going to happen. If he went to save Rocky, he would run out of food. He'd already done the analysis and knew there was no food for him on that planet or in his spaceship.
Right.
So he was volunteering for a suicide mission at that point.
Right.
Whereas he refused.
Or he was voluntold.
Right. Refused. Like, I thought that during that 5 hours, the 5-hour window where he had to decide, I thought he would succumb and say, like, yes, I'm going.
Yeah, and he did
So the fact that he didn't, I was just like, oh, yeah, you're not as nice of a person as I thought. You are a coward. But go Strat. Like, way to get him on the ship.
She was very much so a boss lady. I even loved her from the beginning when he was in there just messing with the astrophage. And he was like, why you don't have 30 of the greatest scientists working on this? And she's like, basically like, we're going to see what happens to you first.
Right. You're the guinea pig.
Yes. And he's like, so I'm the guinea pig? And she's like, doesn't say much.
Yeah.
Basically, yes. So, yeah.
I thought it was cute how Rocky insisted that Grace watch him sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like a cultural, a customary thing for them. And then when Rocky and Grace part ways and he goes to sleep and he says, I drift off to sleep. It feels wrong to sleep without someone watching. And I was like, oh, that's where I like started feeling emotion. I was like, this is actually really cute. And like, he did actually make a friend because it seemed like in the real world he had nothing.
No.
Nothing tying him anywhere, no significant other.
Right.
Like, he's just a teacher and his students. And like, those move on every year, too.
Yep. Because he even said, like, when he was thinking about going back to the United States, or like going back to America, wherever he was headed back. Earth. Yes, the planet. Right? When he was headed back, he was thinking about his students, thinking, well, they're all not going to be there anymore. They
Technically,
might
he
be
would
dead.
be their age.
Yeah, because he was saying, like, some of them might not even be alive anymore.
But because he only experienced, like, 8 years of time, it had been 20 years of their time. So he would have been coming back and would have been equals with those kids. So I thought that was also an interesting factor where, like, they're not going to worship you anymore. They're going to be your equal.
Be your peers.
Right. So that was a fascinating thing. Funny thing from the end of the book, he's eating me burgers.
Of himself? Disgusting. Like, and he's like, well, I guess it's just if you want a burger.
It's lab-grown meat.
Of yourself.
They copied his genetics, yeah. But he said, you won't complain when you've been eating this mush. Like, I just laughed quite hard. Did you notice, and maybe this was maybe more obvious in the audio, but the final chapter title was in Iridian? I thought that was neat.
It was neat. I did notice it, obviously, because they said the weird word. Whatever.
Chapter.
Yeah. There's the little character, the little chord.
So it wasn't as obvious in the book because it was just not like 31. It was like a triangle with a dot or something. So,
which is what now I understand why the A's are triangles, right? So, yeah, they had a reason. And even Andy's work, I didn't even realize that until now. Rocky did evolve too.
Yeah.
I mean, his understanding of like his ability to listen to a whole nother species and eager to learn. I was sad to hear that he was in the same boat of his crew dying.
His big crew.
Yes. And so that was like, oh, we're like both out here solo. And then like Rocky had been there for a very long time.
Right. Years. But they also lived like hundreds of years.
Yes.
So very different in that regard. What did you think about the fate of his planet? Or the likelihood of there being another planet and both species having developed similar senses, or like the speech was in the... Rocky had his own theory as to why... There's a lot of science. And I was just like, okay, guys.
Again, I just was along for the ride. Because at that point, I was like, all right, I just need to try to get within this fantasy as I felt it at that point. Like, all right, let me jump on this board and just go, all right, we're going to just follow along and see how it goes.
What did you think about the gifts that they exchanged when they parted ways? I know I already talked about it because Grace gives him the laptop with all of the human information, which the Arids were farther behind in multiple areas. But what did Rocky give Earth? He gave him Xenonite. Right? And
which
any
was
of
like
random inventions.
Which to them, their inventions were completely different because it wasn't even the same. Even like their whole like atmosphere was so different. Their heat and like their oceans, how they were their oceans were hot, and they're like how they're able to breathe and they don't have eyes, and everything felt like, I felt it was, for them, it was a big gift. Like, that was probably the biggest gift he could give, and the biggest gift that Ryland could give of, like, here, I'm going to give you all the technology advances I can give you. And same for Rocky. I felt like he didn't have anything more than that to give.
Did you at all question early on in the book, like, why does this have to be a suicide mission? Because I was like, he's on his way to another galaxy where there is apparently a massive quantity of astrophage. Shouldn't there be a system for collecting more to turn into fuel or something? Like, I feel like he's going to come up with a way and that he's going to be able to turn around. So he did, in effect. I mean, he ended up taking fuel from Rocky, but I thought if that weren't the case, they were going to come up with a way to refuel the ship based off of like going and landing on a planet or like just scooping a bunch of stuff out of the Petrova line or whatever.
Right. I didn't even think about it in that aspect. I just thought he's there. He's going to try to do what he can. Now he's in a different area communicating with this random species, this different species.
Do you think that was wise? Like, if you were on a spaceship by yourself, would you have communicated, knowing that you are your planet's like last line of defense? Would you take the risk of communicating, or would you have like tried to keep going or like bypass the alien?
I mean, I probably thought the alien was going to try to kill me. I mean, really, because why else would he want me to live? I mean, I probably am a threat to him, and I feel like he probably would be a threat to me. And so I'm not sure I would have gone in so much depth to try to communicate.
Right,
I would have been
so
like,
open to it.
No, I would have been scared.
Right.
Yes.
But I think that his point of view was also like, but what else am I supposed to do in this situation? Like, you risk offending it so that it does actually come after you and kills you, or like...
But he also was a scientist, to someone who was trying to always say these things about aliens. And so he had the depth understanding and curiosity where I personally don't have that. And so I can imagine someone who does would want to really try to get all the information they can to try to build like, oh, I am the first person ever to communicate with this other life form.
Yeah. That's where I just go back to the fact that, like, it doesn't seem like he sent back information about the other planet or the other alien species or the language that he developed, or, like, that's where I feel like there should have been some sort of communication thrown into the Beatles, and I don't know what was. So maybe there could be a sequel where Earth ends up trying to get in touch with this other planet, but I don't know why I'm hung up on that, but it just feels like you had this opportunity and you just gave a morsel instead of, like, everything that you could.
And saying, like, hey, guys, I'm going to live. I'm going to live on another planet. I'm still alive, just letting you know. You feel like coming to find me.
I just feel like there could have been a sentence or two sentences saying that, like, I copied all of the spaceship video camera logs and put them on the thumb drive, like, so that they would have seen an alien running around and all of the experiments being done, because clearly the spaceship itself wasn't communicating with NASA. Correct. Or, like, back with Earth.
No, like, they're too far away.
Right, so none of that data was, like, populating anywhere, and it would have taken decades if there was a connection.
And maybe in the movie, maybe they do evolve some of that to show what they got back.
Right, and when he, like, actually is closing up the Beatles to send them out. I'm very excited for the movie. While I was reading this, I was like, I can see this.
Oh, I can see this as a movie. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I don't watch many sci-fis, but I can definitely see this.
Did you do your homework?
I didn't. I didn't do it because I was like, I can't. Honestly, I thought if I watched the movie, I would get confused on timelines, and I didn't want to intersect anything because I was like, oh no, I can't.
If you're confused as to what we're talking about, in our TLDR, I told Sarah she needed to go and watch The Martian, which is Andy Weir's first big sci-fi book that was a blockbuster. Matt Damon is The Martian, character stranded on Mars. I watched it last night.
Look at you.
I know. I was like, I feel like I should go back and do this. So one of the main criticisms that I came across for this book is that it's his character from The Martian just recycled. And so the main character in that one is Mark Watney, and he is kind of a silly scientist. He's the botanist on the crew, and he's the one that gets left behind on Mars and ends up cultivating Mars. Like, he makes his own potatoes using his own poop as fertilizer. Like, it's a whole thing. But he's snarky and has, like, silly, like, he just is talking to himself the entire time. And so the comments that I was reading was that this was just Mark Watney 2.0. Like, Ryland Grace was just another smart guy spouting off scientific facts and thinking that he's funny for a crowd.
Yeah, okay.
So it was nice to watch this movie. I can see how Ryan Gosling will completely portray this differently. Right. But I can see some of the similarities there. And so when I was watching the movie last night, I was kind of picturing the new movie and how it would be a little different. But I don't know.
Well, it's going to have a Rocky in it.
Right.
So
it's going to have an alien.
It's going to be different.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so The Martian is just him by himself. So it's just one sole man.
Right.
Okay, so that's way different.
Right, and it's a lot of, like, video logs. He's recording all of this. Like, NASA doesn't have access to him. Like, he ends up just being able to, like, type to them. And so he's recording all the video logs in case he dies and they come and recover this lander at some point. Like, they'll know what happened. So he's keeping a diary of everything.
Oh, okay. All right. I was going to say, are they just going to leave him there?
Well, they did leave him there, and then his crew has to turn around and...
accidentally left him there?
Yes.
Okay.
They thought he was dead.
Oh, okay.
He was injured as they were going up on their ship, and they didn't have time to go get him.
Oh.
It was sad.
I'll have to watch.
Yeah. No spoilers or anything.
I probably won't. But I'll watch this one.
Good, because we're going to go and
Because we're
watch
going to
it.
watch this one. And really, a lot of it is I am really curious to see how they are going to create this and the communication between Rocky and Ryland. So I'm really curious to see that.
Yeah. Like, are they going to be playing music the whole time? Are we going to have, like, in the audiobook where it was, like, this weird
Chord.
kind of mechanical, computerized voice?
Oh, yeah. The voice was so different because it was like the computer was dictating. So you're hearing from the computer, and it sounded so weird. And so I couldn't imagine reading that. I could imagine when you're reading that, you almost have to really be focused because you're thinking, am I reading one? Was it italicized or anything to know which one?
I feel like it was italicized.
Okay. Because I was going to say, it's got to distinguish in some way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise that could get confusing. Luckily for the audiobook, again, great narrator. I don't know who is narrating it, but I really enjoy his voice. And I am very funny. I have very quickly switched off an audiobook if I do not like the narrator's voice. And so he had a very good dialect in his reading. And so he was able to give a lot of emotion behind his words. And so that was very good.
I could see it in the movie as being the computer translating everything.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that would be a lot more believable to me than the main character just understanding this brand new language.
100%.
Like, I'm going to put another word into this software and the program's going to spit out what you're saying for me. That makes a whole lot more sense.
Absolutely. That makes way more sense because I don't know. Languages are tough, okay? Languages are tough.
I'm aware.
So learning a language that has nothing to do, there's like no differences or there's no similarities at all. It's completely different would be really challenging.
Okay, here's another question for you. What did you think about the spaceship? The Hail Mary. Maybe we should talk about the name of the book. Mm-hmm. What do we think about Project Hail Mary? And then let's talk about the ship itself.
Okay, all I think about Hail Mary is a football being thrown. Like, all right, we're about to win. Can we win? Can he catch it? And I think what the, I was going to say the Redskins, but they're not the Redskins anymore. They won a good game, not too long ago.
Commanders.
They are the Commanders now. And so they did win over a Hail Mary. So when I hear Hail Mary, that's all I think of.
Right. A last-ditch effort.
Correct.
The, buzzer beater shot from half court. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I feel like that is pretty...
That's accurate.
Or apt for this situation, because how likely was it that they were going to send these 3 astronauts or experts out into space and they were going to be able to solve this? I question that. If the other 2 astronauts had lived, what difference would that have made? Would they still have run into Rocky? Potentially. But if they hadn't, could the 3 of them have reached all of the conclusions and things that Ryland and Rocky did together?
I bet. I believe, obviously, 2 heads are better than 1. Imagine having 3.
You think that those 3 scientists and,
could
mechanic and somebody else... the fact, Rocky was just, inventing stuff left and right and made all these things and was like, here, let me just give you this case. Let me give you this terrarium. Let me give you this.
Chains. He, came up with all that
Here's
idea.
An airlock.
Yeah.
I don't think that chick... Illikenny or whatever her name was going to be able to do that.
No, I don't think
any of those things would have made sense.
Any human being could probably do that. I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
We are evolved.
So I think it was
science.
truly a Hail Mary because I don't think that those 3 could have done it without alien help.
No, because really there would be nothing if he was out there.
Well, because they had to, create that chain link to even get down low enough to scoop up the Talmiba,
Yes. And that was all Rocky.
Right.
That was helping. And just, okay, let me just... okay.
Right. They just were making stuff left and right out of nothing. It was okay, so you 3D printed a couple chain link molds so that he could fill it with his xenonite. And then, you just made a bunch of them and made 10 miles worth of chain link. So crazy. Okay, the spaceship itself.
Yes.
What did you think? At the beginning of the book, there was a diagram that showed the like layout of the book. Did you look at that to start, or
no? I didn't. I mean, I didn't look at it to start. I mean, because I kind of again went along for the ride. As he was trying to go to all these doors and couldn't remember his name, that's how I was starting to explore the ship. Like with him, like, okay, we're trying to figure out the ship. What's here? What's there?
I looked at it, and because there were two different diagrams, because it was like when the centrifuge is activated and when it's not activated, and it was all pointing in different directions. So when he was confused about like why something was up instead of down, I was like, oh, because you haven't figured this out yet. Your ship actually flips around. So I felt like I was one step ahead of his memories at that point. But the fact that the diagrams are there, I thought was very helpful.
Yeah.
It seemed like a very small ship.
Yeah.
Like it was very tight quarters.
I mean, the bathroom just flipped around the wall, just flipped around, and the toilet's right there. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, it had to be small.
What do you think about like the life support robot?
Oh,
that was like providing food and
intubate. Yeah.
Well, and it clearly came across a problem because 2 of its patients died.
Obviously wasn't that great.
I would be hesitant, as Ryland was, to go back into a coma.
Yes.
Knowing that, like, if something goes wrong, like, you could be a mummy as well.
Right. The 1 in 3 chances, not very high. I mean.
Right. I didn't blame him for wanting to stay awake for his ride home as long as possible.
I would too.
Like, when he tried to eat the coma slurry and was like, blah. I was like, oh, yeah, that's rough. You're going to want to go in a coma so that you're not actually tasting that.
Yeah. I would have tried to stay alive. I probably would not have wanted to go into coma because I would have been like, that's what I'm working with? No, thank you. Well, thanks.
Okay, so do we think that Ryland ever goes back to Earth?
No, I don't. Do you?
No. Mm-mm. I think that they're going to work on communication and try to, like, figure out, because didn't he find out that, Earth's sun, like, the sun actually returned to full power, so that means that the scientists and...
They got the information and did something.
So it worked.
Yeah, so whatever he did.
Yeah.
He did his job.
Yeah. I feel like...
I actually feel like it's going to be less about them trying to communicate. It's more about him helping the Iridians evolve.
Right. Well, and that's him now as this school teacher and kind of taking over that role once again. Mm-hmm. Did you think that was altruistic? Like he was doing it for the good of the Iridians, or that he just wanted to be worshipped again?
I think he did it for the good of them. I think he changed enough that he now wanted to help them.
I thought it was interesting that he's living in this dome and like everything around him is just black because they don't have any light.
I know.
Because their atmosphere is so thick and so dark, like there's no light.
But he did tell them like he needs like light night and day for his moods and yeah, I mean, you do.
But the fact that you're just living and like kind of see a spidery shadow every once in a while, like walking past.
No, thank you.
That's a very strange living.
Sounds horrible.
Right. But I mean, I love that he did develop this friendship with Rocky.
Yeah. I agree. I liked Rocky. I liked their relationship. Ended really in that good, wholesome-ish way. Sure.
Speaking of wholesome-ish, I thought it was very comical that Grace didn't swear and that all of his sayings were like almost swearing. Mm-hmm. Like he even said something like, I grunt, I say a bunch of not really profane things, but I get it done. Because it was always like, bologna sandwich, and like just funny. And I appreciate that. And that's also something like as a teacher, you have to have different reflexes. You have to have other sayings and phrases to go to.
Yes.
And like, especially as a news anchor, like if I were to drop a swear word, that's like fines. Mm-hmm. That's like your station is penalized. Mm. And so that was one of the things it's one of the reasons I don't swear. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want that to accidentally come out at a bad time. So like keep those reflexes in check. And so I thought it was really funny that he mentioned it several times where like he wasn't swearing. He was very frustrated. And so he said very funny things. I didn't write down some of those. I wasn't taking notes. I was along for the ride, but I thought that was very comical.
Yeah, I liked him as a teacher. Again, I think that it was just a fun moment, a little blip, but I liked the transition of him better than I liked him at the beginning.
There was one other thing that I thought that I actually wrote a note. It was like the first thing that I wrote a note on, and it was like 25% way into the book or something. It was just one of the flashbacks where he's talking with the really quirky scientist, Steve Hatch.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Hatch is just this like exuberant, happy guy and is really optimistic about everything. And it's like, yeah, we're going to figure this out. Like, and he said God was handing them the future with astrophage, and that was going to help people on Earth move forward. And Grace's response was, how can you see God in this? Like, the Earth is about to experience ice ages and, like, massive famine. And this other guy was like, yeah, but we were given this technology and this tool to try to, like, figure it out. I just thought that was an interesting. Little, like, a smidgen of the gospel thrown in there.
A little revelations.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the fact that, like, you can actually see the good in bad things.
Absolutely.
And, like, that was just I had to stop and, like, pause for a minute and be like, what if God did do that? And, like, sent aliens to, like, awaken us to other things around us. Like, there's just so much space out there.
And there has to be a reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why are there other planets? I want to know.
Right?
I really want to know all those things. I have lots of questions about that.
Yeah.
Because I just am curious, like, why is there so much that we don't know about? Does somebody here on Earth know about it? And we don't know? I don't know.
It's one of these weird scientists, and they're going to be talking over our heads if they do.
That's true. I'd be like, just give me the real easy Cliff Notes here.
Right. Reader's Digest version, please. Talk to me like a fifth grader.
No, have you played Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Okay, third grader. Let's bring it down a little.
Yeah, but so I didn't. All right. So, anything else?
I think that covers it for me. We talked about a lot. What do you think about the book cover?
I like the book cover. I think it pulls in kind of a lot of the aspect of, like, here he is in space. You see him there. I like the colors. I like the gold. I like the black. Mm-hmm. I like it. What do you think?
I really like it too. What do you think the gold and the black is? Like, what are we seeing? What is he? That's what I was confused about from the beginning. Like, I think that's, I don't know, because it looks like he's leaving footprints, or is he out wandering willy-nilly at the moment? Because it looks like he's on a moonwalk or something like that. It could be.
I see him falling in my.
He's on the edge of the spaceship because he did a million, like, outside jobs where he had to be out on the side of it. But that's what I was just confused. I like the gold. I like the look of it. I just don't know what exactly is happening because he's definitely falling next to something. And I didn't think his ship was gold, but maybe that was the Tau light.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I just think it's got to be one of these, things he's after. Because obviously that doesn't look like any planet or stars or anything of that aspect. So
I liked it, and I picked it up. So
I like the colors of it. I don't know what they mean, but I like the colors. And again, like I said, I liked the triangles. It makes sense to me why he used triangles in his words and his and also in Hail Mary. Yeah. So that kind of tied that in and made sense. All right. Do you want to give your review first, or do you want me to give mine? I do not mind either way.
Go for it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So jumping into this again. We have talked about science fiction. It's not something I will go pick up. Even when I see science fiction, at Barnes & Noble or the library, I will just keep walking and drop science and just go straight to fiction. And so it's not something I'm drawn to. I will say in this book, I did find myself understanding the evolving characters. I really enjoyed as Ryland Grace was evolved, as he became a better person, as he became his character was built up to be who he was. I also enjoyed Rocky. Once I got over, if I can put out of my head that he was a rock spider, then I could see him as a character. I will say so much of this felt so far-fetched to me. Some of it felt so unbelievable. When I went to the store today, I told you I saw this book and it was in fantasy. And so I thought how interesting that this is in fantasy because I could see it with all of these different words. Like you were saying, we wrote some of them down because I'm like, I cannot even pronounce that word. What is that? Because it's not a real thing, right? It's a made-up thing completely. And I get it. It's science fiction. They're trying to show us the different points of things. It was a good book. I mean, it had a lot of interesting things in it. The science and the math felt heavy. It felt very detailed, overly detailed, to the point that if you're not a huge science buff or you're not a huge math person, it becomes too much. It becomes the point of like, now you're losing me in the storyline. And mind you, he does a good job at pulling you back in after they go through all their counterparts of figuring out how they're going to save their planets. But it wasn't something that I would pick up and read again. I am excited to watch the movie. But for me, it's a 3.8. It wasn't the worst book I have read.
Right.
But it definitely was not the genre I would pick up naturally.
Right. Would you pick it up again?
No.
Unless I force you?
I mean, honestly, I feel like it's good to evolve my scope and understanding, and I enjoy that you kind of push me out of my comfort zone. I will say there are parts of this that I was like, wow, that was really interesting. I actually think that I will like the movie better than I liked the book, just because I think I'll be able to see what I pictured and didn't picture in such a better way.
Yeah.
I think that's what was missing. I couldn't picture some of these things.
Right. I think that will make a huge difference.
Yes.
I'm in kind of the same boat where I think I confessed this before. I haven't actually read space books or like true science fiction. I read a lot of dystopian, which in my brain feels kind of sci-fi-ish, but I can see why it was in a fantasy section because this is very far-fetched. This is out there. I also think that fantasy is just really popular right now, and so the book is moved over to fantasy to like get more eyeballs. Is my guess.
Makes sense.
But I really enjoyed this. I think that the science was really heavy, and so there was a lot of stuff that I was just whizzing past while I was reading because it's like, I'm not going to take the time to verify this. I'm like, okay, well, that's an interesting way to figure out that problem. I did think that it was dumbed down to a certain extent where, like, a dummy like me could say, that's probable, or, like, that could maybe happen, or, oh, man, I wonder if he checked the seals. Like, I don't know. I just thought there was an awful lot of math and science happening, which the other reviews had said, watch out, that's coming. But when you're in that situation, like, you have to be expecting things to go wrong, and you have to know all of the ways to fix it. And he had a lot of access to knowledge and other books and things that he could find the answers to. So I don't think it was believable. I think the movie will I think the movie will get a higher rating from us than the book itself. I feel like this one had like a 4.5. Like, this was a very high rated book, and it's 5 years old, or like it's
2021.
Yeah. I'm struggling to put a number on this because I have really high hopes for the movie. I think I'm going to put this at a 4.2.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
I think it's a 4.2. Going back and forth, but like I said, I think that the movie's going to come a little higher. This was a long book, 500 and some pages. I didn't have the audio. If I had listened to the audio, I may have liked it more. I mean, I cruised through this on my phone. We had a lot of snow days, so I had a lot of opportunity to, like, be at home and reading. But, yeah, that was a lot.
It was.
Especially for, like, my first true science read. And so I was like, oh, I really like space. I told you I want to go to space. But then you see all of it, like I'm reading all of this and the airlocks and the stress of like cracked glass and like, what are you going to do? And like the air pressure and like, oh.
Do you still want to go to space?
Yeah. Yeah.
It might be a Hail Mary mission.
They might have to force you to be on there, but I'll volunteer.
No, I can't bring you anything.
Right. If you throw me on that ship, what good are you? Like I said, I'll communicate with the aliens, but I'm going to need your Excel spreadsheet already set up for me because I got nothing.
No.
So, yeah.
Still, no thank you for me.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. Overall, I really enjoyed the flashbacks and figuring out how they were preparing for this mission and how the entire globe was like banding together and kind of the impacts that just the sun darkening was going to have. I did think it was funny when they started like blowing up Antarctica to create more greenhouse gases, and that poor scientist who was like, I've worked my entire life to reduce emissions, and now we're amplifying it to buy us a couple more years. That I thought was another ironic, like,
all right,
science. That's crazy. Like now we're going to try to like pollute our air so that it traps in more heat so that we can stay alive and keep our crops alive longer.
I mean, science really is amazing. It really, truly is. It's just literally mind-boggling, and it's overwhelming, and you have
not my forte.
You have to immerse yourself. Again, why scientists, I feel like oftentimes like serious scientists are kind of have a hard time like communicating with others because they talk on a different level. And that's what I felt this book was. It was communicating at a different level that I just was having a hard time getting
keep
on.
up. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, again, I was just reading it for along for the ride, but I was having a hard time, like, okay, we're just going to read it and keep moving. Let me just keep going. And so it was another level. Again, I know Andy Weir, like we said in our TLDR, he is like a space guru. He loves all this. This is like his fun thing. So for him, this is just like enjoyment and a hobby.
A walk in the park.
Yeah.
Kid in a candy store. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But I realized while I was watching The Martian last night where I was like, I really enjoy these movies. I love every single space movie. Like we talked about Interstellar and The Martian. Like I just love space movies. Maybe not space books.
Yeah.
Still a great book, but
I'm excited for the movie, so.
Please come back and watch the next episode because we're going to watch the movie and it's going to be so great. Hopefully.
We'll see.
Right.
I mean, Ryan Gosling, come on.
Right. Can't be that bad, right?
Can't be that bad. All right, until then, keep reading.
Keep ranting.
And remember, you're so approachable. Okay, the episode is over. If you enjoyed it, could you give us a thumbs up or leave a review?
It goes a long way toward helping us grow and meet new people like you.
Subscribe to get notified when the next episode drops.
You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook to see what we're reading next, recommend new books, and join the conversation.
We're so excited to have you on board.